my people, welcome to Afris Concept TV, where you get the latest and the hottest news. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, make sure to do that now. Let's listen to the news in full. Buhari spent $1.5 billion monthly to defend the Naira, borrowed massively to cover up costs, presidency says. The presidency on Sunday pushed back on claims that Nigeria is going through the worst economic crisis in a generation caused by the policies of President Bola Tinubu, pointing out that the administration inherited the problems. In a rejoinder to a New York Times article titled "Nigeria Confronts its Worst Economic Crisis in a Generation," published on June 11, the presidency highlighted the causes of the economic woes and the efforts by the present administration to stem the tide. According to the rejoinder written by Bayo Onanuga, Special Advisor to President Tinubu on Information and Strategy, and made available to correspondents on Sunday, fuel subsidy regime had grubbed $84.39 billion between 2005 and 2022, while the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) amassed trillions of naira in debt for absorbing the unsustainable subsidy payment. The rejoinder asserted that the last administration had spent the sum of 1.5 billion naira monthly to defend the naira. It said with the past administration servicing debt with up to 97% of its revenues amid serious infrastructure deficits, it resorted to massive borrowing to cover costs. The presidency stated the NYT reflected the typical predetermined reductionist, derogatory and denigrating way foreign media establishment reported African countries for several decades. According to it, most significant about the report is that it painted the dire experiences of some Nigerians amid the inflationary spiral of the last year and blamed it all on the policies of the new administration. It said the report, based on several interviews, is at best jaundiced, all gloom and doom, as it never mentioned the positive aspects in the same economy as well as the ameliorative policies being implemented by the central and state government. The presidency added, to be sure, President Tinubu did not create the economic problems Nigeria faces today. He inherited them. As a respected economist in our country once put it, Tinubu inherited a dead economy. The economy was bleeding and needed quick surgery to avoid being plunged into the abyss, as happened in Zimbabwe and Venezuela. This was the background to the policy direction taken by the government in May-June 2023, the abrogation of the fuel subsidy regime and the unification of the multiple exchange rates. For decades, Nigeria had maintained a fuel subsidy regime that gobbled $84.39 billion between 2005 and 2022 from the public treasury in the country, with huge infrastructure deficits and in high need of better social services for its citizens. The state oil firm NNPC, the sole importer, had amassed trillions of naira in debt for absorbing the unsustainable subsidy payments in its books. By the time President Tinubu took over the leadership of the country, there was no provision made for fuel subsidy payments to the national budget beyond June 2023. The budget itself had a striking feature. He planned to spend 97% of revenue servicing debt, with little left for recurrent or capital expenditure. The previous government had resorted to massive borrowing to cover such costs. Like oil, the exchange rate was also being subsidized by the government, with an estimated $1.5 billion spent monthly by the CBN to defend the currency against the unquenchable demand for the dollar by the country's import-dependent economy. By keeping the rate low, arbitrage grew as a gulf existed between the official rate and the rate being used by over 5,000 BDCs that were previously licensed by the central bank. What was more, the country was failing to fulfill its remittance obligations to airlines and other foreign businesses, such that FDIs and investments in the oil sector dried up, and notably Emirates Airlines cut off the Nigerian route. President Tinubu had to deal with the cancer of public finance on the first day of rolling back the subsidy regime and the generosity that spread to neighboring countries. Then his administration floated the Naira. After some months of the storm, with the Naira sliding as low as 1,900 to the US dollars, some stability is being restored, though there remain some challenges. The exchange rate is now below 1,500 Naira to the dollar. The Tinubu administration and 36 states are working assiduously to produce food in abundance to reduce the costs. Some state governments, such as Lagos and Akwa Ibom, have set up retail shops to sell raw food items to residents at a lower price than the market price. The Tinubu government, in November last year, in consonance with its food emergency declaration, invested heavily in dry season farming. The USA too is contending with a similar crisis, with families finding it hard to make ends meet. US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen raised this concern recently. Europe is similarly in the throes of a cost of living crisis. As those countries are trying to confront the problem, the Tinubu administration is also working hard to overturn the economic problems in Nigeria. Our country faced economic difficulties in the past, an experience that has been captured in folk songs. Just like we overcame them, we shall overcome our present difficulties very soon, is pointed out. And that is the news for today. Don't forget to like this video, comment under this video, and subscribe to this channel to get more news from this channel.